Good evening, all, and it's time for yes, Major's Musings. It has been 2 weeks already. Time flies when you're getting old, doesn't it? And I've now got 4 days off work, so cheers. I'm not going to get into a garbled mess of a state as I did a few weeks back. So now, as we've been doing, this is going to be another Fighting Fantasy stream. I'm not going to go beyond midnight because I don't want to run into Legion of Myths stream. They've got a members only one starting at midnight. So you've got to be respectful to fellow streamers and not Quover. So, hello Halakar, hello Elfbait, hello Grumpy Old Slan. I never know whether to call you Grumpy or Slan or Grumpy Old Slan. It's like whatever you want. And hello to Mage's Musings. And we do have one lurker because it's saying 5 in chat. There's only 4 people who've said hello so far. Right. Had a couple of deliveries this week. Showed them on Wednesday. Well, showed one of them on Wednesday. Got that on Wednesday. And this has also arrived as well. So there's some more options for the future. Looks like Omanal wants to join in and play. So let's add Omanal to the stream. Before I talk to you, Omanal, I need to put my headphones on because I can't hear you till I put them on.
Well, that's okay. You know, it's let's see if you can hear me now. I just felt it wrong. I was there last week. We got to finish this thing off.
Well, we didn't do a stream last week, did we? It was 2 weeks ago.
Yes. Well, okay. They all blur after a certain point.
They do blur. Yes, it's all part of advancing years. Speaking of years advancing, next week's stream on the 4th of November will be my 51st birthday. And I will try and stream on it. I don't know what we're doing for. I mean, might go out for a meal and a few beers first, so I might be a bit tiddly before we even start. we shall see. But I have no idea what I'm going to get for my birthday. To be honest, I don't care. I don't want another birthday. I've had enough of them. 50 was enough.
You know what, though? For me, that was just an excuse to have friends over, to cook up a really good meal for them. And that was about it. It's just another excuse to have to socialize.
Yeah. My wife will probably expect to do something social. But my friends, my face-to-face gaming group, there's currently a couple of COVID cases flying around, so we won't be meeting up. Even though we're all of healthy ages and whatever, we're just playing it safe because I don't want I can't afford any time off work. But I haven't got a clue what we're doing next Friday. Haven't got a clue.
You know, if it's your birthday, you can do whatever you want. And once you're 51, you don't care about any peer pressure.
Well, no, there's no peer pressure. But I will have to go to work, which is a pain in the bum. I can't have Fridays off, unfortunately. But
I think we're finally getting your weather here. So, you know, it's cold and rainy. So.
Right. Good. About time too. We have that 90% of the year, so you can at least have it 10%. Hello, Roland. Right. Shall we start our book? There's only 5 people watching tonight. Now, yes, I'm a Scorpio. Yes. Not that I believe any of that, but I am a Scorpio. Sting in my tail, allegedly. Right. Does anyone remember what we did last time?
Didn't we hold up the captain in his bathtub and then leave, and now we're waiting to go in another room?
I think we are, yes. In fact, I have got the number 271 written down here, which is It seems a suitable location.
And let's see, just so for everyone that kind of missed it or forgot, we had to have what, a tattoo on our forehead, a silver arrow, a black pearl, and what else do we have to have there?
Hag's hair and lotus. I've got written down here.
Okay. It's kind of a hard one. I mean, I really enjoyed this book when I remember reading it as a kid, but it was one of those that you definitely have to go through it multiple times to make sure you get everything. If you aren't very lucky.
Right. So what you're saying now is we are likely to miss at least one or two of those things on this run through. Oh, well, let's see how we get on. 6 people in chat, so hopefully most people will be voting. And we have a picture for 271. Can you all see that? Asleep in their bunks are 3 pirates. Their room is small and contains only clothing and a few personal possessions. It looks as if the pirates have been drinking and gambling, as there is an uncorked bottle of rum, a mug, and a pack of cards on top of a barrel in the center of the room. You see that one of the pirates is wearing a small leather pouch around his neck. Shall we try to creep up on him to cut it loose, or shall we close the door and not take any risks? Are we going to be thieves, or are we going to be cowards? I already know what everyone's going to say.
You better be thieves.
Well, you've got a vote. I'm just getting a pencil out.
Mage's Musings just put up his.
I've got a slight delay on mine here. I don't see them come through till about 10 or 15 seconds after they appear for everybody else. So I've just seen Mage's Musings appear. Thieves. Grumpy, old, or slan, whatever. Grumpy and old are adjectives modifying slan. He has said that, so slan. Okay.
Only Elf Bait is cowardly. It's a coward.
No. Okay.
Right.
Elf Bait, crack open a bottle and get some Dutch courage inside you. Some of you are probably still at work, though, aren't you, over in America at the moment?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just got off at 4, so.
Right. Well, I was at work today. I was due to finish at 5:30, but I was burning a load of old documents that were not needed. And I decided to wait. We've got a little burner out the back. It's a proper rough old school one, all rusty. I decided to wait until the fire had all finished and didn't get home till about 6:15. That's
I like L's thing. We still aren't at Clock Street.
Well, yeah, you've got a better memory than the rest of us by the looks of things. But at the moment, we are 2-1 in favour of thievery, and Omen Owl has voted for thievery as well. So that's 3-1 in favour of thievery. So we're going for thievery, right? 162 Thieves. Thieves is a song by Ministry. Thieves and liars. I won't sing. Right, it says, test our luck. If we are lucky, we manage to cut the pouch loose without waking the pirates. Our luck is 10. So 10 or lower on 2d6. 5. There we go. We are lucky. So let's turn to 7. What's in the bag? Yes, I've got a load of tools. I've got a character sheet from 2 weeks ago here. You tiptoe quietly out of the room and close the door. In the corridor, you open the pouch and find 6 black pearls. Yes.
I didn't want to cheat and steal it, but that's the one thing I do remember.
You remember the black pearls were in there, right? Okay. Add 2 luck points. So we're back up to maximum luck. We may either open the other door if we haven't already done so, That was the bathroom, wasn't it? Or
Yeah.
leave the ship. And we leave the ship by walking north up Harbour Street. Is that what we're going to do? Elle, you've got some catching up to do. We're going to have to go up Harbour Street because we've already been in through the other door, I believe. I'm just going to check, actually, because yes, that's the bathroom. So, right, walk north up Harbour Street. So, tum-ty-tum-ty-tum. If anyone was keeping a map, it'd be very useful. I started keeping a map, but it sort of stopped. The street runs north along the quayside for a few hundred meters before arriving at a junction. Shall we continue north up Harbour Street, or shall we go east along Clog Street? Now, I've got something noted on down here. The silver arrow can be found on Clog Street. See, I do keep some notes. So, north up Harbour Street or east along Clog Street?
Well, since you just cheated, we'll go Clog Street. Well, did he tell us where the arrow was?
Well, I've got it written down here, silver arrow - Clog. So we must have spoken to somebody who gave us that clue.
Okay. Yeah, well, it must have been the pirate captain.
Yeah, I think we've talked to a few people, haven't we? So could have been the pirate captain.
He's a cowardly dread pirate Roberts.
I am glad he let us leave. There are other things that might have happened in a less child-friendly version of the book. So, Munchie Gecko. Do I pronounce your name Getcho or Gecko? Is it Munchie Getcho? Is that an arg or an arg?
We're not Irish.
Right.
He's British.
So yes, yeah, Gecko. Right. Okay. But why have you spelt it CH? Look,
it's that
yeah.
German, you know.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
You know, I'm a pedant when it comes to things like that, and it is an arg. Actually, if you're pronouncing gecko like that, it's going to be you're going to be monkey gecko rather than munchy gecko. Unless that's what it's supposed to be. Oh, it's just gecko was taken. Oh, right, okay. Funky gecko. Right, okay. All right. Okay. So I have no idea how to pronounce that L. I would say Gorty. It looks like we're going up Clog Street anyway. I can't speak Klingon because I'm not a sci-fi nerd, as you should all know by now. Right, I'm going on Clog Street. If it is goatee, then yeah, goatee. Right, we'll go east along Clog Street. Clog Street. I'm keeping an eye on chat. Clog Street is very narrow and lined with terraced cottages and the occasional shop. To your left, you see what looks like a small boy lying face down on the cobblestones, groaning loudly. A hood is pulled over his head, and you cannot see his face. A wooden hoop and stick lie by his side. Shall we stop to help him, or shall we walk on?
It's a trap.
I'd say I'm bi-unital as well. We have to be in Britain because we do both imperial and metric. I can't think in kilometers though at all. I have no idea who Jordan Gray is, so
I don't know. Is that the weird women's porn book or whatever it is? Elle, what are you reading? That's the real question. Elle, what are you reading?
yes. I do wonder what's going on in Elle's head sometimes. Maybe it's really not something we should wonder about, but everyone thinks right. Omanal says walk on. Pretty much, Munchy Gecko says walk on. Squirrel Hermit says help. Major's Musings.
Yeah.
What's that?
I was just saying, Major's Musing seems kind of nonchalant. Like, well, if you're going to get into a trap, spring it. So.
Elle, I did hear about that. I had no idea what the person's name was, but yes, I did hear about something odd happening. That I have no intention of looking at video of. Right. It looks like we're helping. It does look like we're helping. Okay. 72. As you bend down to help the injured boy, he suddenly rolls over and you see the flashing blade of a dagger before your eyes. The boy is, in fact, a goblin, and you must fight him for your life. Okay. We've got a skill of 9. The goblin's got a skill of 5, and he's only got 4 hit points, so we should kill him easily. In fact, I expect to kill him in 2 rolls. We've just beaten him in the first round easily. And the second round, it was 20 versus 7 in terms of the totals. We've hammered him. He was nothing to worry about. Don't want to waste those good rolls on something as weak as this. What's going on? What's going on? You're chuckling away at something going on in chat, and I've got no. It's either going over my head or I'm missing it completely.
No, I'm just saying there's a child here now. Let's keep it family friendly. It's like we stabbed a little child to death with something.
Okay. Yeah. So we help the child. Turns out to be a goblin, and we kill it in 2 hits. And the goblin's pockets contain 2 gold pieces. Yes, stealing pocket money from children. Marvelous. A clove of garlic. Right. And some knuckle bones. Okay. Let's head east again along Clog Street. $317. One of the shops to your left is a candle maker's. There are many different coloured candles burning brightly in the window. If you wish to enter the shop, we'll turn to 241. Or shall we continue east by turning to 280? Enter the shop or continue east. 8 people in chat now to make decisions. The dice were great. Then that last round of that combat, my 2 dice, which are the green ones, came up 11 plus my skill of 9 to make 20. The goblin with its skill of 5 rolled double 1. Yes. Complete waste of an almost perfect roll. Right. Squirrel Hermit says east. Slan says shop. Omanal says shop. Squirrel Hermit, you've been hello, Praxis. Squirrel Hermit, you've been completely outvoted, and we'll go into the shop. 241. Inside the shop, you see a tall, thin man with pointed ears and fair hair, pouring hot wax from an iron pan into a mould. The candle maker is an elf. As he turns to you to speak, you notice his slanted eyes, which are icy blue. For some reason, they appear very cold to you. He tells you that all his coloured candles cost 1 gold piece each. You may buy as many as you wish. He then asks you if you like to see one of his magic candles in the back room. Remember, this is a child-friendly book. If you wish to see one, turn to 63. If you'd rather leave the shop and head east, turn to 280. Shall we look at the strange elves' candles in the back room? Or shall we continue east?
Well, we've killed every shopkeeper before. Let's go look at this one square.
Yes. Hello, Master Blaster.
So many double entendres here.
Yes, yeah. Our last 3 locations have been filled with the double entendres, and it's good that chat is making the most of it. Yes. Look at his wares. Go look at his candle. Ooh, candles. For those who know British comedy, I intend to buy 4 candles. I guess that you don't know that sketch, Omanal.
No. I mean, the most of the stuff I've ever watched was Benny Hill, Blackadder, and some of Monty Python.
This was the 2 Ronnies, and there was a famous sketch they did called 4 Candles, and it's a play on words. The fact that people from London often drop the H's at the start of their words, and he goes into the shop and he goes, 4 candles. So the guy behind the counter goes and gets 4 candles, and he goes, nah, 4 handles for forks. And then we have O's, and they're trying to decide whether it's hoe, garden hoe, hose, a garden hose, and it turns out to be O's, the letter O for a gate.
Okay.
And the whole thing, and he goes peas. So he goes, oh, he goes and gets him a letter P. Nah, tins of peas. And the whole scene just goes on like that. It ends with him opening a shell a box which has got bill hooks on it.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So, anyway, yes, the 2 Ronnies. So, I think we're going to go and look at his candle. Okay. Shall we go and see a candle? The elf leads you to a room lit by purple candles, which give a strange glow. You stand and stare blankly at the candles and drift off into a world of vivid dreams. While you are in this trance, the elf takes 5 gold pieces from your backpack. Get. We've been robbed. Okay. What can he have for my backpack? He can have my pipe. He can have my knuckle bones. There we go. Outside the shop, you have no recollection of the theft, and you leave the shop thanking the elf for showing you his beautiful candles. Outside, you head east again. Letter to self: don't trust slanty-eyed elves. Further along the street, on the left, is another shop. A sign outside reads, Ben Borryman, silversmith. If you wish to enter the shop, turn to 213. Or shall we keep going east? Yes, purple haze.
We need the silver. We have to go to the silversmith.
That does sound logical. Bit of Hendrix, Purple Haze. Yes, I think that might be what got us.
We're actually doing pretty well for money. I'm surprised we aren't.
We got 30 from one encounter. Can't remember how we got it, but was that when we robbed the shop? Yes, we need elf bait to bait the elf.
I don't think it's as easy as, like E.T. where you put out the M&Ms.
No. I'm guessing it was probably quite hard as well. We can't kill the elf. It doesn't let us. Anyway, El, you dissed the author last week. The author is Ian Livingston, the founder of Games Workshop and an absolute RPG luminary in Britain. Without his shops, I'd have never got all my D&D stuff. So we're going to the silversmith. 3 people say go in. Nobody says ignore it. So we're going in. A man wearing a white apron is sitting at a bench busily polishing a silver goblet. There are several silver objects in a glass cupboard secured by an iron grill at the back of the shop. What should we do? Shall we talk to him? Shall we attack him? Or shall we leave the shop? El, you don't know who Ian Livingston is? You've heard of Games Workshop, who created Warhammer. Games Workshop was a chain of RPG shops before it was a chain of Warhammer shops, and it was the biggest seller of D&D in Britain. That's where I bought all my D&D stuff from, Games Workshop in the middle of Birmingham.
Not getting robbed again.
So, okay. Yes, Livingston, I presume. Said by Henry Morton Stanley at Ujiji, which is in modern day Tanzania, I believe. I think. No, we don't. Praxis is right. We don't know we've been robbed.
Got roofied. At least we only got robbed.
Yes. Well, yeah. So El wants to attack him. Omen Al says talk to him.
Got to talk.
We've got no other votes so far.
We got to make those arrows.
We have got to get those arrows. Yeah. No other votes yet.
Well, there's an easy way. You just go in broke and you come out broke. Then you don't have to worry about your coin.
Yep. Come on, chap, make your minds up. Am I just going to sit here and look gormless on stream, waiting for chat to decide what to do? Talk, attack, or leave? We've got 1 for talk, 1 for attack so far.
We got 2 for talk.
And 2 for attack.
Actually, we've got 3 now. That doesn't help. We're gonna lose we're gonna lose anyway if we don't. Elf baits at talk. We're at 3-3. It's free. Well, he doesn't have any silver arrows. Is the point? He's going to have to make them for us, I assume. Uh-oh. We're at 4.
We're at 4 for attacking. Is this where it goes horribly? We were doing so well.
Well, you can always change. It's not finalized. This isn't like an election.
Yeah, you can change your vote.
I just hate losing, that's all.
Yeah. But remember, you don't lose at D&D, do you? It's not possible.
Well, this is where we got into the argument about, how many limbs do you lose in which game system that Elfbait and I got into. No, it's...
I don't think I've ever D&D. I've never used any critical sort of system in D&D, so limb loss has never been an issue. And I'm not stupid enough to give out Vorpal blades and swords of sharpness to my characters either. Right, we are talking to him, okay? I guess you lose at D&D if you're playing the game with a bunch of idiots and the DM's rubbish.
Yeah. Well, you lose if you go over there and no one wants to play.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, you lose if you go over there to play and the DM pulls out 4th edition.
Fourth edition,
not edition warning.
I think Pardon? 4th edition is fine if you just want to play a tabletop board game.
Yeah, if you want to play a tabletop strategy game, if you go over to play D&D and it pulls out 4th edition, I would stand and argue and be the pedant.
I was disappointed when looking at it is they didn't have any rule. You look through the book and they didn't have rules for like social encounters or anything else. What? Yeah, it was.
It's a combat game entirely. Yeah. It's a tactical combat game.
It was to sell miniatures.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah. You ask Ben Borryman if he has any silver arrows for sale. He replies that he does not, but he will make. You've read this book before, Omanal. But he'll make one for you at a cost of 10 gold pieces or 2 magic items. We can afford 10 gold pieces. So we'll pay him 10 gold pieces. It basically says there, if you could afford to pay him, turn to this. If you can't afford to pay him, turn to another one. We can afford to pay him. You pay the silversmith and wait patiently while he makes a silver arrow for you. Woohoo! Finally, he presents you with it and assures you that it will be completely accurate in flight. You thank him for his trouble and leave his shop. Silver arrow. Okay, and then we head outside the shop again afterwards. See you, Elfbait.
Hopefully he's going to go play some games.
Yes. You soon arrive at a junction. If you wish to turn north into Tower Street, turn to 127, or shall we continue east into Stable Street? Tower Street or Stable Street? Tower or Stable? Tower Street or Stable Street?
Okay, which one's East Squirrel?
East is Stable. So Squirrel's voting for Stable. Okay, we got Tower's winning though. A few weeks ago, it was Elle who got outvoted every single time. It looks like it's going to be Squirrel who's going to get outvoted a lot tonight.
I just thought Squirrel had the thing, where you just, if you ever played Zork, it was just E. You just kept pressing the same button over and over for East.
Oh yeah, for me, it's always west, because the whole idea of going left. The way you get out of any maze, you just put one hand on the wall and follow it all the way around. And I always put my left hand on the wall and around you go.
So I see
Tower's winning. Is that 4 Tower, 2 Stable? I make it.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay. North into Tower Street. Takes us to 127. Just ahead of you, 3 men are involved in a fight. The 2 younger men appear to be attacking an older man with iron bars. Do we help the old man, or do we avoid them altogether and continue north? So help the old man or avoid the fight. There's no option to help the young men. Not an option. Find the curry house, break wind, and take them out with stinking cloud. Out. If you have a Vindaloo, then take them out with cloud kill. Mages, you're using an English term there. Help the geezer. All right, geezer.
It's like they're all winning with help the old guy.
Yeah. Looks like it. I might help the old geezer. So I try and do the next one in a really bad Cockney accent. I ain't from London.
Well, we wouldn't know what's a bad Cockney accent or what's a good Cockney accent here.
Dick Van Dyke in Mary Poppins is a bad Cockney accent.
Okay.
I ain't from London. So I don't know Cockney accent, right? But it's what gangster types talk like. That's a rubbish Cockney accent, because I'm not a Cockney.
What was it? Was it My Fair Lady or whatever it is? Is that the one with the Cockney accent for the play?
I thought it was Dick Van Dyke in Mary Poppins.
It may be, but there's a play where they're trying to turn her into a proper lady, and she has the really thick.
Probably is. That sounds like My Fair Lady would be the sort of thing that would happen. But I'm not one for musicals, so my family would know these. My wife educated the kids on musicals at quite a young age.
Yeah,
right.
It says Cockney accent. All right, just checking online.
Do you know what Cockney rhyming slang for American is?
Not a clue.
It's a septic. Apples and pears, stairs, dog and bone, phone, skin and blister is your sister. Do you know why septic is for an American? It's a good one, this one. Septic tank, yank.
Okay.
Don't blame me. Blame the Americans. not the Americans. Sorry. Blame the Cockneys. They're the ones who come up with these sort of things. Why would you blame the Americans for something the Cockneys came up with? Duh. Yes. Grumpy, I did try to educate my kids on the cure of the Nephilim and ministry. I've managed to get my daughter to listen to sort of late 90s, early 2000s punky sort of stuff, your Green Days and your Offsprings. She quite likes those. And I once overheard my son singing a Metallica song, but he still listens to rubbish.
My son asked why I don't like the Beatles. I said, because I've heard them for so long, I just am tired of them. Yeah. I said, you're set. I love the time. You're 7. You've only heard it for a few years. I've been hearing it my entire life.
Exactly. Ministry. I've got to listen to more Ministry. It's been a while since I've listened to it. Stigmata, great track by Ministry. Right. Okay. Anyway, We'll continue with the book. You draw your sword and rush to help the old man. He's lying on the ground, and the other two men are beating him, and they're trying to take his leather bag. You call out, and they turn to attack you. We've got to fight them one at a time, and they're both a bit tougher than goblins. So this could hurt a bit. Get ready to spend some luck in this combat. First one's got a skill of 7. 8 in the first round. Our skill's 2 higher, so we've hit him. We've hurt him. Ooh, 5-4. We've won the second round as well. Crossing fingers. 7-7. Yeah, the first one's he's going down. All right, bruv. We're taking the first one out without any issue at all. Okay, the second one's got a skill of 8, though. We've tied on the first round, so nobody hurts anybody. And we've beat him on the second round, 6-6. We haven't lost any. After I said our chances were poor, I'm looking like a fool now. We're battering him. We're battering them. He's got 2 hit points left. Okay, I'll shut up, shall I? He's just hit us. I've just rolled. I say we're battering him, and I roll double 1 for us. Yeah. Take him out the next round, though. We've lost 2 hit points. Yes, it does say we'll fight them one at a time. So sometimes it says fight them both together, in which case you've got to roll against both of them every round. It just says fight them one at a time. So yes, they wait in line. Those started with 8 hit points and 6 hit points, and you do 2 damage every time you hit them, unless you use luck to increase it. So I had to hit the first one 4 times. I had to hit the second one 3 times. Right. If we win, turn to 51. You walk over to the old man and help him to his feet. He's very grateful and offers to buy you a drink at a nearby tavern. If you wish to go for a drink, then we turn to 325. Or shall we just continue on our way? So shall we go for a drink? Or shall we continue on our way?
So these guys don't have any money or anything?
No, there was no option to take anything from them.
Okay.
They're attacking him. Maybe that's why they were attacking him. They'd only got iron bars. That's all they got in the world. Almost feel sorry for them. It is Friday, indeed, and Geek hasn't got to be up in the morning. So I have behind me a bottle of wine, and I also have, when the wine's finished, another bottle. I've got about 6 litres of port in the cupboard, specifically for Fridays now. Yes. Beverages. Let's go for beverages. 325. Have you seen the price of beer nowadays? Has it gone up in America like it's gone up in Britain?
I don't know. And whenever I bought stuff, I always bought fancy things. I used to buy blueberry beer to make my ex nice. It was the best money I ever spent.
My brother made us a raspberry ale. That was gorgeous. You couldn't drink much of it though because it was very strong. But he served it you in third of a pint because it was about as strong as wine.
Oh wow!
But it had this lovely. It was raspberry ale, so it tasted of raspberries and beer at the same time. But it was so refreshing. It was so nice. And my mum makes damson gin. She does that. I don't know if you get damsons in America, the fruit.
Doesn't sound familiar, but again, the only time I ever buy beer is whenever I want to be nice to my ex when I get my son.
Damsons are like a dark plum.
Okay.
A dark sweet plum. And what she does is she soaks, puts them in a bottle with just pure gin and leaves it for several weeks. And the damsons infuse in the gin.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And she also makes elderflower champagne as well. That's nice. Need to go to my mum's again in the near future. Right. Okay. Yes, don't tell the law that she makes gin. There've been times I've gone to her house and I've just heard this drip, drip, drip coming from their makeshift still they've got in the back room. Hey. Anyhow, yeah, it's beer's now about £3.50 to £4 a pint in most pubs in Britain. In London, you're going to pay £7 or £8 a pint, which is horrendous. You follow the old man through the swinging doors of the Hog and Frog Tavern. He tells you to sit down at a small table in the corner while he shuffles over to the bar to buy the drinks. There are several shifty-looking characters sitting at nearby tables, but they do not seem interested in you. Soon the old man comes back to the table carrying 2 wooden mugs filled to the brim with cider. We can make our own alcohol, but we can't make our own pure alcohol. If it's spirits, you have to have a license for spirits. It's like a moonshine sort of type approach. We can brew our own beers and our own ciders and our own wines. It's when it's just basically sort of like 60 proof gin, vodka, whatever. That's when the legality becomes an issue. Anyway, the mugs are filled to the brim with cider. Once seated, he opens his leather bag and places 2 small pots on the table. He opens one and rubs the white cream in the pot on his wounds. He smiles and tells you that he's a chemist by trade and that you should rub some of the cream on your wounds too. You take his advice and are surprised to feel the healing effect of the cream work quickly. Add 5 stamina points. We needed those. Yeah, that's right, Grumpy. We can ferment but not distill. That makes we can brew, but we can't do anything more than that. After finishing your drink, you say goodbye to the chemist to leave the tavern and head north. If you go into my mum's house and she's got a little cupboard under the stairs, there's always interesting wines in there, which are all homemade. Blackberry wines, elderflower champagne. She makes a plum wine, makes an apricot wine. Oh yeah.
And does she grow all these on her property, or?
She grows some of the fruit, but I mean she's pushing 80 now, so she can't really do much. When me and my brother, we used to take part in motorsport, and she used to come along, and when she used to say that she was watching the cars go by. But what we know is that she'd take every opportunity, especially if it was August, September, to go into the trees to find blackberry bushes. Because at the end of every event, she'd come home with carrier bags full of fresh blackberries. And within a few months, her rack under the stairs would just be filled with blackberry wine. We weren't complaining because it was lovely. This is all about 10 years ago now. And she's not very much now, unfortunately. But when we were doing motor racing, she was a navigator in a rally car at the same time as well. She had like a second childhood.
Oh, wow.
And she navigated for me on one event, and I completely failed to scare the old bird. I tried my best. I went through a chicane at 80 miles an hour, nearly taking off the wing mirrors of the car. She didn't even let out a little shriek. I was hoping to finish the stage and find a big pool of wee on her chair where she'd been really scared, but didn't happen. Didn't even flinch.
Well, she was 70. She's like, there's a way to go. This is the way to go.
Exactly. I mean, she did the championship with the guy from Yorkshire. He beat us on a snowy event. They beat us on the snowy event, but we beat them on all the other events. So, sons beat mother. What's a chicane? Praxis, have you never watched motorsport? Munchie, I was. But not race car. Race car's the one word. Rally car. I drove a rally car. And a chicane in motorsport is a very fast, often tight, well, very quick, often tight right left or left right. So you do that very, very quickly. It's designed to cut speeds down, and these chicanes were made out of lorry tires. So and I was in a little Nissan Micra. That was my rally car. If we'd have collided with those tires, weighed more than our car did. So if we'd have collided with them, it would have absolutely wrecked our car. But yeah, so imagine threading your way through tires that are probably 5 or 6 meters apart, and you've got about the width of a car to squeeze through. You've got to sort of go like that to go through them, and trying to do that at 80 odd miles an hour. Yes, lorry is like a delivery truck. Yes, we call them lorries over here. Trucks are lorries. It's the same thing. You know, them really big, sort of many wheels, lots of tons, those massive tires. Yeah. Oil tanker, whatever.
That's what we basically call semis.
Is that what you call them?
Well, the really big trucks, with the 18-wheelers. Yeah.
That's what they used to make the chicanes. So you didn't want to fight with the chicanes at all. Tear your car to pieces. But I spent most of the time rallying in the forests, Welsh forests. I managed to get my little old Nissan Micra up to 95 miles an hour going downhill in a forest in Wales. That was proper squeaky bum time. Because if you can imagine, you're on a wet, muddy track that's as wide as the car. You're going downhill at 95 mile an hour, and you've got a drop on the one side, and you can just see the tops of the trees on that side because it's that steep.
Oof.
Yeah. And we were one of the slower cars on that stage. I only had about 60 horsepower. There were people going to that stage with 400 brake horsepower. So imagine how fast they were going down that hill. Anyway, we go back to the adventure. Tower Street makes a sharp turn to the right, going east between tall buildings. An iron bridge crosses overhead between two of the buildings, and you see movement on it. Small cloaked people are carrying laden sacks between the buildings, apparently in a great hurry. If you wish to call out to them, tell me. If you wish to walk under the bridge and continue east, let me know. So, shall we call out to the people who are carrying sacks between the buildings, or shall we just ignore them and continue east? I'm just going to be a complete pedant here, and
I feel hurt. Squirrel Hermit said call out instead of going east.
call out to their sacks. Okay. Right, Slan reckons go east. Everyone else seems to be calling out to the people. They might have the stuff we need. Yes. But they're wearing cloaks. Is that clear? We're calling out to them. Hello, people. One of the small people stops and looks down at you. He mistakes you for a town guard and calls to his accomplices to run for cover. He then points a short crossbow at you and fires a bolt. Test your luck. If you are lucky, the bolt misses us. We've got a luck of 11, and I've just rolled a 10. So it's good that we got those luck points back. Oh, throwing dice on the floor. Excuse me. So we were lucky. The bolt thudded into the ground at our feet. Yes. Thieves. The little man with the crossbow curses before running into the building on your left. There does not appear to be an easy way to catch him, so we walk under the bridge and continue east. Okay. Don't interrupt thieves while they're in the process of thievery from buildings, only when they're attacking people. Tower Street soon ends in a junction where it meets Stable Street, running north and south. We've missed our chance of going anywhere near Stable Street, so we have to go north here. Yes, it is railroading us. Did you hear about the Call of Cthulhu game we had last weekend?
I didn't check up in it. I saw that it had been played.
Yes. Yeah, my party managed to survive with all their hit points intact and most of their sanity intact. They got out of the adventure.
Which adventure did they play?
We played one called the Amaranthine Desire,
Okay.
and it's a Gaslight Cthulhu game. 1895, set in southeast England. The only problem is when they came out of the adventure, because of what they'd done while they were in the adventure, they went in 1895, they came out in 1953, and Germany had won the Second World War.
Oh, yeah. Okay, now I remember what everyone was talking about. That.
Yes. So they were fine, but the country wasn't, and they had caused the deaths of untold millions of people.
Every time I hear that, all I can think is Hellboy with the secret war with Hitler. So
yes. Anyway, do you remember what number we said we were going to? It was 30 we were at last time, wasn't it? I've completely forgotten. 76. There we go. Okay. To your left, you see a large wooden barn set back from the houses. 2 horses are tied to a post outside the barn, and smoke rises from a crooked chimney on its low, flat roof. Shall we walk through the barn doors, or shall we continue north?
I have no clue, but I kind of like walking through buildings.
Muncher, you need to play it sometime. Call of Cthulhu is an awesome game. It helps if you've got a person running it who is mostly benevolent, but is capable of really twisting the knife in when it matters. I think that works with Call of Cthulhu. Go with their plans. Go with their plans. Go with their plans. Ha 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 ha! Kill, 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 kill. Isn't that right, though, Omanal? Isn't that the way to do Call of Cthulhu?
I'll be honest, it's one of those I've read a lot of, but I never really played because sometimes it was hard to get. When you have people that are all more of the action adventure style, you're like,
Yeah.
well,
you played in my game, and do you think I
did.
drove the knife? Do you think I drove the knife in enough?
I thought it was fine. I didn't think, I didn't think it was that, anywhere bad or anything like that. It was, I hate saying it, just if I wanted to play Call of Cthulhu for certain things, I would love to do pulp Call of Cthulhu,
Right?
And do some of the, don't get me wrong, that it's still pretty dangerous when I read, the adventures, but but they're massive campaigns when you look at them. I mean, they're like, oh, you're going to run this for a year.
It's when you play those big campaigns, it helps to set the sanity so it's a drip, drip, drip effect. So sanity issues build slowly over time. The adventure I ran you through was very much it's a one shot only. It was designed to pick you up and chew you up and spit you out, basically.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I that's the way to me that it should be. It's just like very similar to the books, but what are the campaign books they have? Not the ones with the little short adventures, but when you look at some of the big books, like, yeah. All right, They're intended for 6 to 12 months of gaming with the same group.
They're a massive time investment for everybody, not just the players committing to playing weekly for however long, but to actually read and digest them is huge. I mean, I've run a third of Horror on the Orient Express, and there's half. I haven't even opened the second book yet. Never opened it. I don't know what happens in it. I don't need to.
Well, what is these big adventures where they talk? There are 3 of them, which is a Cold Fire Within, a Two-Headed Serpent, and Mask of Nyarlathotep. Or
Nyarlathotep.
Yeah, Niall. Yeah, however.
I think the fun with all of them, though, the opening sort of salvo will be quite gentle, or it'll offer a little bit of peril. Not.
Sorry. Whenever you say a little bit of peril, I just immediately go over to the Holy Grail. Well, can't I just have a little bit of peril?
A little bit of peril, yes.
I'll bet you're gay.
Yeah. But I mean, what I noticed with Horror on the Orient Express is that, I mean, there was a chance that they could get hurt in the first encounter, but the odds were that they wouldn't get hurt too badly. And it would just knock off a few sanity points, which they'd have a chance to recover, perhaps, because there's a bit of a chance to relax and take it easy for a few days. And then it takes you on a path through Europe where it starts off quite straightforward. I mean, you're only really finding mutilated bodies early on. It's later on that the things that mutilate the bodies come for you. Right. Anyhow, I think everyone went for barn. So I'm going to go to 25, which is open the barn doors. You soon realize you're in a stable where you see a large bare-chested man wearing a grubby white apron. He's busy at work at an open fire. He takes a red-hot iron bar from the fire with his gloved hand, and he starts to hammer it into the shape of a horseshoe on his anvil. Sweat pours from his brow. What should we do? Make conversation with the blacksmith, attack him with your sword, or leave him to his labours and continue north? Conversation, attack, or leave him. See, I think Pulp Cthulhu is probably... I like Call of Cthulhu because it's a break from the action of the more traditional fantasy role-playing games that I tend to go for. So I like the fact that it is something very different in terms of pace.
Oh, no, the investigative... Well, even when I've read bits and pieces of it, all it really does is it has a bit more action. It feels more like Indiana Jones mixed in with Call of Cthulhu, which I kind of enjoy, but you still end up dead because you're fighting, giant monsters. I don't understand where this thing is. Just because you can get into a gunfight with a mortal human and say, okay, that's more like Indiana Jones, you're not fighting the big bad monsters and coming out alive. And so
no, I suppose you're just alive a little bit longer to face the big bad monsters.
Yeah. Your characters don't die from, accidental tripping or anything like that. They just die from getting squished by the big monster.
I don't tend to allow accidental tripping deaths unless there's something else affecting that tripping.
Sure. Well, I mean, you get higher skills. I'll have to pull out my book and look at it. But I didn't see anything that I thought was that much different. It just, it just makes you a bit more resilient from bullets and things like that. That's about it. It's you're still fighting, eldritch horrors that will squish you. So I don't.
Yeah. You're not going to get shot to death. You're just going to have your limbs torn away.
That's right.
Right. It looks like conversation is 169. My Halloween game is now oversubscribed by 2 people. Never had that before. All years and years and years of playing a niche hobby in Britain. And struggling to get 3 or 4 people interested in playing a role-playing game. Put out for a game of Call of Cthulhu on Halloween because we can't meet face-to-face that night because of people being ill. And it looks like we've got 7 people for a 5-person adventure, which is magnificent. It just means I've got to make some adaptations to the adventure. Right. The blacksmith removes his gloves and wipes his hands on his apron before asking you what you want. You answer by asking if he makes anything besides horseshoes. He replies that in his spare time he quite enjoys making chainmail coats. In fact, it has become quite a profitable sideline of his, especially in a place like Port Blacksand. He tells you in great detail the skill and labour that goes into making one, and finally inquires if you are interested in buying one. They are not cheap. Shall we spend 20 gold pieces on a chainmail coat, or shall we leave?
Oof. How much is a chainmail coat? Well, I mean, does it tell us what it does?
We've got 20. We've got 26 gold. So it'll leave us with 6 gold pieces left if we buy a chainmail coat. But I think it might be a good investment.
I'm kind of by the chainmail. It may burn us whenever we have to get a tattoo or something. So that's the real question. I don't know. That's one of those that I'll leave the rest of the chat to decide. Yeah. I can't remember how much it costs to get some of the items. But I think we can sell stuff too. So
I agree, Mages Musings, but there's loads of good RPGs out there. There's loads of good RPGs coming out. There's too many to keep on top of. But for me, it's the fact that us old grogs have come round to the idea of playing online occasionally. I know it took me a while to get used to it. It's taken some of you guys a while to get used to it. And not every game works playing online, but certain games do. And I think Call of Cthulhu is one of them. And it does give us that option to find good players who have got a good gaming mentality and are willing to commit themselves and play the game in a constructive manner.
I agree. As I think that we are in a golden age. There's so many great games out there. Problem for me is I kind of become a collector. So I'm like, right. I'll buy all this. I'll buy all of this. And is that really a great game? But like I bought Mutant Chronicles. Not that I was that thrilled about Mutant Chronicles, but they had it for like 90% off or something like that. And it was cheaper for me to buy the book than it would be to buy blank paper.
Yeah. Elle, I know we had play by email, but when you've got absolutely no patience, play by email becomes frustrating. And I don't have any patience. I've got an A, a D, an H, and a D. So if I've got to send off my orders and then wait a day or 2 days, whatever, for someone to email me back and tell me what happens, I'm bored. I've had enough. My brain's gone on to something else. I tried playing play-by on message boards. Played a few of those games for a while. And I ended up signing up for 4 or 5 because I was getting so bored of waiting for them to come through for one game. And then I just felt too snowed under and just gave it all up.
Well, for me, it's hard because I can make decisions fairly quickly. Like, I'll do this, X. Yeah. And then waiting for everyone else to make a decision. And I'm not saying this is ideal, but when I do play from home online, I'm always looking up other stuff, especially. So I listen. So like even when I was playing your game, I tried it as well, especially when I was, while we were waiting to find out we were dead, which to be fair, Gingerbeard was absolutely hilarious for that.
He was good, wasn't he? He was very good.
But I was reading other stuff. I was doing a lot of other things on the side too, so that's fine.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. But it's one thing you can do if you haven't got You haven't got a camera on you. You can sit reading a book and tapping on a phone or whatever while you wait. As long as you've got one ear on the game and you know what's going on, that's fine. Because it does play a little bit slower. It takes a bit of getting used to playing over Discord. It does play a little bit slower, but it's better than, for me, it's much better than was playing by message boards. I did that about 10 years ago when I first got back to the hobby because I was so desperate to try and find games.
I there's some great things about online, but for me, I enjoy, whether it's physically having the book or something. I have to have always something in my hand or looking at stuff, and so I know that. Well, Legion of Myth is like, no, everything has to be under the table. No offense, I can't do that. I have to be somehow active somewhere. So.
Yeah, I mean, I even if I'm playing a face-to-face game, I am one of those people who will sit there and stack dice the whole time. My brain has to be doing something.
Well, just give me the book. It doesn't matter what it is. Is if you even if or the problem is I'll pull out a piece of paper and I'll start doing math problems. I mean, not.
Yeah, sit drawing maps or something.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's why I used to be the guy who drew all the maps when we played.
Yeah, I have to stay involved, and that's one. That's what's weird about me playing online. Running game, I've no problem with sitting and listening to 15 minutes to players just role playing out something, because if I'm running the game, I know it's what I'm doing and saying that's engaging them and causing them to role play. So that's I do find that satisfying, and I enjoy it. Cheers, Roland. Yeah, online can be okay, but live play can be electric. Yeah, well, that's right. Yeah, Major's Music, you are right. I mean, but online is a perfectly good substitute when it's still a niche hobby here, unless you want to play 5th edition every night of the week, which you could easily do. I don't want to do that. And I play with a group of people who do have lives. We're all 30 plus. Most of us have got kids. So things happen. And we've only got short time frames and short windows in which to play. Anyway, we have bought the chainmail, I think.
Okay, let's see what it does.
Okay, turn to 46. Oh, there are new comments. What's a life? Indeed, what's a life? The blacksmith takes your money and walks over to some bales of hay in the corner. He lifts one up, and underneath it you see the chainmail coat. He turns to you and says, "You have to hide everything in this place. You can't trust anybody. The coat fits perfectly, and its workmanship is excellent. Add 2 skill points."
Ooh, that's a huge difference. I could just put an 11.
Yes. We're now hard. Not hard. In Britain, if you're hard, it means you're tough. You're strong. Right. Coming towards you as fast as he is able is a man in tattered rags with a ball and chain attached to his leg. He's exhausted and collapses in your arms. His face is dirty and unshaven. With great difficulty, he manages to speak, saying, "Please cut me free. The town guards are not far behind me. I've been locked in a dungeon for 2 years, but managed to tunnel my way out. I was robbed and unable to pay my taxes, so Lord Azure ordered that I should be jailed for 5 years. Please help me." Further up the street, you hear shouting voices and then armed men come into view. Do we cut through the chains with your sword, or shall we hand him over to the guards? Oh, moral questions now for chat. I can see this going wrong. This is ball and chain hot. I don't think he's in that form of bondage. Master Blaster is lawful neutral.
He just got married. Elle's on fire today.
Yeah, he has his moments, doesn't he? He has his moments, and when he gets it like that, yeah,
Well, sometimes he's really grumpy, but today he's on fire.
yeah. He had a bit of a grumble at the start. He does have. We're old. We're all allowed to be grumpy.
Well, I think L's at the end of his gaming days. So
Is he?
I believe
Ominously at the end.
yes, I think that's by my understanding.
Right.
Now he could correct me on that, but
L, are you drawing a pension now? L, do you look forward to having a pipe and slippers? Okay, yes, he's dancing on the grave of Gary Bay. I do hope you're not in a hospice, because that's a bit crap. It's more than crap. If you are in a hospice, then you have every right to be very sardonic.
that's why I'm surprised he hasn't tried joining one of your games. Actually,
He's welcome to. Apart from the one that's full with two spares.
yeah.
Munchy Gecko is turning half a century old in 4 days. So happy birthday for 4 days' time, Munchy Gecko. Whoa! Is that Tuesday? Next Tuesday? November the 1st? Have I worked
Saints
that out
Day?
right? November the 1st for Munchy Gecko? As I said earlier, it is my birthday next Friday, so I will be 51. So I am 362 days older than you, Munchie. Right. Anyway, what were we doing? Hand him over. Okay. Most people are going for hand him over. We've got 2, 3 going for cut chains. Everyone else is handing him over.
Well, how many do we have for handing over? We've got what, 4?
I counted at least 4.
Yeah. Okay.
I've got Squirrel, yourself, Master Blaster, and L all going for hand him over.
I'm more afraid that if we cut him loose, the guards will ask us where our pass is, and then they'll take us to jail.
Practice has just leveled it. He's saying cut him loose. I'm pretty sure we're now on 4-4.
Uh-oh.
Mage's Musing says cut him loose. Is that the deciding vote?
Oh no! Well, Elfbait just said cut him loose too. It looks like we got.
Oh, we're cutting him loose, right? Okay.
Looks like we're fighting some guards.
You swing your sword with all your strength and bring it down on the heavy chain. Much to your surprise, it bounces off. Before you have time to try again, you're surrounded by 4 town guards who are pointing their pikes at you. Will you tell them you have caught an escaped prisoner for them, or offer them a bribe to let you and the prisoner go free?
I caught an escaped prisoner for you. Because we don't have any money now.
We've got 6 gold pieces left, haven't we? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to bribe 4 guards.
So, do we tell them we've caught an escaped prisoner, or shall we offer them a bribe, knowing that we've only got 6 gold pieces?
I like when everyone said cut him free. Immediately says, I have an escaped prisoner for you. I'm like, can we be any more chaotic? You know,
Chaotic evil, more like. Yeah. This is chaotic evil.
I think we're just chaotic selfish at this point.
Chaotic selfish is chaotic evil, in my opinion.
I always look at evil as that you are inflicting pain on others, even when it works against you. The Jordan
That's
Peterson view of good and evil.
that's where we differ on the alignment. Then I think because I try to treat the good neutral evil axis as helping others, focusing on the other part of the alignment axis, or helping self.
See, I look at it this way, which is good is you're altruistic, neutral is selfish, and then evil is that you like to inflict pain on others. So. Chaotic.
For example, lawful neutral, for example, for me is purely you go by the book, no matter what. The law is more important than anything else. As chaotic neutral, freedom is more important than anything else. You don't go by the book. Thus, if you're chaotic neutral and you see someone who is enslaved, they are not free. It goes completely against what you believe in. So you will rescue the person who is enslaved. As would a chaotic good.
I agree. It's Palladium alignment. It's probably the best alignment systems out there.
I've had a look at them and they are fantastic. I've just never played any Palladium system.
I know some people love it. When I was younger, I did, but the older I get, the less simulationist I want to be, and that goes more towards the simulationist aspect with all of the automatic parries and dodges. It's rolling a lot of dice, and it can really bog it down.
But the alignment's good.
The alignments are fantastic. I mean, looking at, but I'm not even saying that the combat system is necessarily bad. I think the organization is the worst part for Palladium. But, combats can really bog down if you get high-level characters versus high-level characters. So.
High-level combat can bog down in a lot of games.
Yeah, but you're not getting 10 attacks per side. And then when I say 10 attacks, we're talking maybe per character. And that can really get out there. And then you're getting automatic dodges, automatic parries. So now you're doing multiple dice on top of that. And then you have numerous bonuses. And so it can really bog itself down. And that's my one
thing against MERP combat is it's probably the exception. It's always fairly slow, but it doesn't get any slower as you go up levels. Because you only ever have one attack.
Yeah, like Elf.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Right. So we're going to tell him we have caught an escaped prisoner, because that's what pretty much everybody went for. You tell the town guards that you're a bounty hunter. They seem pleased that you've caught their wanted man. Their chief guard walks over to you and hands you 5 gold pieces. This murderer won't escape again. Here's your reward. He then rejoins the other guards who are busy chaining up the escaped murderer. You decide to head quickly north in case the murderer tries to implicate you. Hey! Okay. So it says turn to 222.
We're at 11 gold.
Yes, hurrah! On the right-hand side, the houses are separated from the street by a wooden fence with shrubs, trees, and bushes and flowers behind them. There is a turnstile in the middle of the fence, by the side of which is a sign reading Public Gardens, entry fee 1 gold piece. Shall we go into the gardens?
I think this is where we get the lotus. So I think it's
I was thinking exactly the same thing. We have a silver arrow. We don't have a tattoo. We have the black pearl. We're still waiting for hag's hair and lotus. So do we go into the garden? The shrubbery.
One a little bit lower, so it gives that offsetting effect.
Yes. The Knights of New. Yes.
I shall do no such thing. Oh, please.
For me, the best part of that film was the second time he met the insulting French knights.
Okay.
I thought the insults ramped up that time. I thought they were very good.
They did, but there's so many quotable things. I still.
Yes, there is. Yes, it is. That and Life of Brian, probably the two most quotable films in history.
Well, what was it? The life of no, the meaning of life was another one.
I watched Meaning of Life in my teens and I didn't get it. I'd probably get it better now. Most of which went whoosh above my head when I was in my teens, but I found the others immediately funny.
I still enjoyed Army of Darkness for some of the quotable.
I don't know Army of Darkness. Oh, we have a picture. We have a picture. Haven't had a picture for a while. There we go. You place the coin in the slot, so that's one gold piece gone, and walk through the turnstile. Although the flowers and shrubs are not outstanding, you are nevertheless surprised that such a place exists in Port Blacksand. The gardens are not very large, extending back some 60 meters to where some houses back onto them. There are two paths to follow, one of which runs around the edge of the gardens and one that leads directly into the center where there's some topiary. Each shrub has been cut into the shape of an animal, and you decide to take a closer look. The path leads into a small paved area surrounded by the animal-shaped shrubs. Animal-shaped shrubs. Bit of a tongue twister. In the middle, there is a stone plinth upon which sits a large earthen bowl containing lotus flowers. There's a painted sign that reads, "Do not pick the flowers." The gardener is nowhere to be seen and there is nobody else about. Shall we risk picking the flowers or shall we leave the gardens? It's fairly obvious, but it's got to be obvious. But I am still going to sit and have a drink and wait for chat to decide, because I'm not playing this, chat is.
Elle keeps assuming we can come back. You know we can't.
No, we can't. No. If
it was up to Elle, we'd still be at Clock Street.
Yeah. One thing, these books are a lot less linear than the Endless Quest books that TSR did.
That is true. Well, they did the other one, which was it Sarngard or something like that, where I think it was Gygax one, which was kind of a level. You get experience points and you level up, and you get, and you basically take a character from book to book. I enjoyed that as a kid. I didn't like the Endless Quest because they remind me, they were done almost exactly the same as the Choose Your Own Adventure, but there was no combat or anything. It was just...
No, there was no combat. No. Something. Now we're an hour and 28 minutes into the stream, and YouTube probably won't spot it. I will admit now I have found a PDF of one of the ones that one of those books that were done for MERP.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I remember those. I got those.
Yeah. They didn't appear on the British shelves for very long, and they're extremely expensive over here. But I found a PDF for nothing, so I'm never playing one of those.
I like that one. Well, I still think that, since you're doing on stream, I think you should still go to Project Aeon with the Lone Wolf books. I know you do the physical book, but they have not the definitive editions, but they have the whole book up there, and you can click, and so you
I've been there and I've had a read of the first few pages of one of the books, and I'd be happy to play through one of those and give it a go. The only issue I've got is because I've only got one monitor, so I couldn't see chat or anything. but I might one of my players is supposed to be wiping his old computer so I can have it.
Oh wow.
And if I have that computer, it's not for free. I'm paying him for it. I'll be able to get another monitor and run with 2 monitors with that computer. So it becomes an option then.
Okay.
But at the moment, I don't have the option.
I
I haven't got a tablet. I haven't got a tablet. Sorry. I'm sorry.
I want to buy the definitive edition, but to have them shipped here to the United States is like 10 pounds
Oh.
per book. I'm like, really? I was like, I love to get those definitive editions, but could you guys, maybe. So I'm waiting until it's worth buying like 10 of them at once. But I'm kind of kicking myself when I saw that the pound went to $1.05. I was like, oh yeah, that makes it a lot cheaper.
It's gone back up again, hasn't it?
It's like $1.16 now.
Yeah. I know it cost me, but when I did that giveaway a few months back, I had to set the winner was in America, and that parcel I sent containing 3 books cost more than £20 to send. It's frightening.
Well, it was like I said, it was the $10 per book. I went, well, if I buy 5 books, that's like 50. It's 50 pounds right there, plus the books themselves. But
wouldn't they put them all in one package?
Yes, by my understanding, they would. But it says if you buy more than 9, contact us. And it's like, all right, I can wait.
Okay, so you're saving up for 10 books in one go.
That's right. Then we'll see if it goes down just a little bit.
How legal is it to write these now? Well, there is an official license, and a publisher has got them, and there are people writing them at the moment. But they are. There's one written by Charlie Higson, which is a name I know. He's been on various TV shows as a panelist. And there's one written by Terry Pratchett's daughter. So these are people who have got names in the UK. So I'd imagine that, if some old AD&D grognard turned up and went, "I want to write a book," they'd be like, "Right, are we picking the flower?" Yeah, I think we're picking the flower. I have a feeling we're quite deep into this book now.
I think that we're only about 2/3.
You've played it before. As soon as you pluck one of the flowers, you hear the noise of rustling leaves. 3 of the animal-shaped hedges have uprooted themselves and are closing in on you. Do you have a ring of fire? I've not been eating a curry, so no. Do you have a ring of fire? If you have, turn to 237. If not, turn to 191. We have not found the ring of fire. I fell into. I'm sorry.
I was just thinking Johnny Cash myself,
Yeah. You know what? I might be a bit of a heathen when I say that Eric Burden from the Animals did an outstanding cover of Ring of Fire.
I'm going to be a real heathen here, and I think that Johnny Cash did a better job of Hurt than 9 Inch Nails.
I think they are equal, personally, because to me they feel like different songs. I think both are wonderful.
I agree. They can feel like completely different songs, but if I had to choose one versus the other, I'm picking Johnny Cash.
I'm going to go for Trent Reznor if I have to pick one, but I don't want to have to do that because I think Johnny Cash's cover is one of the best covers of all time. But it just happens to be covering one of my favorite songs from one of my favorite albums by one of my favorite groups. So it's difficult. Another Johnny Cash cover I absolutely love is his cover of The Mercy Seat by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. Again, I don't want to pick between the two because I think Nick Cave's version, especially his live versions, are just astonishingly good, but Johnny Cash adds a whole new twist to it. So if you like Cash's version of Hurt, look up The Mercy Seat by Johnny Cash, and there's somebody on YouTube has set it to footage from at least 2 films. I know one of them is Angels with Dirty Faces, which is a great video. Really good. Really, really good video.
Well, I just remember I was going. Of course, I went to college like years after I should have been. But when I was going to college, I remember it coming out and it being played. Johnny Cash's "Hurt" being played on the hard rock stations. Like, why is Johnny Cash on the hard rock stations, and why is it doing so well?
I remember the British radio stations playing, and this is the new single by Johnny Cash. And I was sat there at work thinking, I know this song. It's Hurt. What? But yeah, it's fantastic. It's a brilliant cover. And have you ever heard Mercy Seat?
I don't. I probably have. I'm terrible with song names. And the funny thing is, if you actually look at like my list, it's basically hard rock and Viking music and soundtracks.
And the Mercy Seat is waiting. I can feel my head is burning, and I'm yearning to be done with all these looks of disbelief. An eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. And anyway, I told the truth. And it is a song about a guy on death row, and the whole time he goes through saying, I told the truth. I told the truth. I shouldn't die. I shouldn't die. I told the truth. And at the end, the last line is something along the lines of, and I told a lie. And he admits it just as he dies. And the Mercy Seat is burning, and I feel, I can't remember the lyrics at the moment, but it's a fantastic record. Really, really deep. Anyway, you draw your sword to defend yourself against the advancing leaf beasts. They all attack you at once, seemingly trying to crush you and smother you. Treat the leaf beast as a single creature with a skill of 6. I don't care about not finding a ring of fire because we've got a skill of 11 now, and this has got a skill of 6. It can take 3 hits from us. There's one. Oh no, we've just beaten it. 6 versus 11. Oh no, we've tied on that round. Then we've beaten it on the 3rd round. And we've tied on the 4th round. God, if we hadn't found the chainmail, got the chainmail, we'd have lost 4 hit points so far against a really easy foe. Beating it on round 5. There we go. All right. Chat has shut up. If we win, we run back to the turnstile, still clutching the Lotus, and make your getaway into Stable Street. So we have the Lotus flower. Right. That's 3 of the items.
So that leaves us the hag's hair and a tattoo left, or?
Yeah. So, chat and Omanel, do you have a favorite song of all time?
Are we talking song, or are we talking just like
one
a soundtrack or in particular?
One song. If there was one song, what would it be?
Oh, geez. There's several of them, but part of me wants to say Amish Paradise by Weird Al Yankovic.
I don't know it.
He basically took a rap song and then made it into a song about Amish.
Right. Based on Gangster's Paradise. Yeah.
Yes. And if you actually watch the video, I mean, to me, it's great. So but I also like there's several. I like the Weird Al songs. It's not that I don't have them, but to me, a lot of things, I don't care a lot about lyrics in most cases. And so I love the Conan soundtracks. To me, that's why I get mostly soundtracks for stuff. But
I'm reaching for the ban button for Master Blaster. Mine is New Dawn Fades by Joy Division. I am wearing my Joy Division shirt today. There we go. New Dawn Fades by Joy Division from the album Unknown Pleasures, Track 5. It's magnificent.
See, and Mages is talking in musings about this. I'm like, yeah, there's several others by Weird Al I enjoy.
He never really got any sort of following over here. I heard the odd song by him, but I'm guessing it probably wasn't his best.
I think what it is that, to be fair on this, is the videos are what really helped propel him in the United States during the age of MTV. And that was his videos are hilarious. If you ever watch them on YouTube,
Right.
and I think that really propelled him forward. Because otherwise, you're just listening to the same song that he's just mocking before. But the videos are just over the top, fantastic. You know, just all the little visual cues, everything like that. So
also, I mean, might it be that he's very much writing them for an American audience and American culture?
Yeah, but I think I like you said, if you haven't watched the videos, then you probably wouldn't understand. Right. And I think once you watch the videos, you'll understand why he did become popular. Like Fats was another one, and that video is great. But he did such a good job with the videos. That's what I think really propelled him.
I do remember Eat It. Now that's mentioned it, I do remember that. But there was a band in Britain around that time called Half Man, Half Biscuit, who wrote songs almost entirely about British culture and taking the mickey out of British TV shows and celebrities, and just absolutely tearing them to pieces in their songs. And I used to like them. They trying to think of some lyric. I mean, if you remember, do you remember tennis in the 80s? There was an American tennis player called Vitas Gerulaitis.
I don't remember him from the 80s.
I'm sure he was American. They wrote a song called "There's an Outbreak of Vitas Gerulaitis."
Okay,
because his song sounds like a disease. And you say you watched the Benny Hill show. Do you remember the three guys who were behind him who used to be his stooges?
I remember the short guy, and there was like a tall guy, and
it was Henry McGee was one of them. He was the sort of guy with black hair, quite geeky looking one. And there was a short guy. There was the big guy. The big guy, his name was Bob Todd, and Half Man Half Biscuit wrote a song called 99% of Gargoyles Look Like Bob Todd. So it was all very silly, but it was that sort of stuff. So, and there was a guy who was always on TV in the 80s called Lionel Blair. He was a dancer who became a bit of a smarmy sort of TV celebrity. And they wrote another song called God Gave Us Life, but he also gave us Lionel Blair. It's just sort of piss takes, the whole lot. Anyway, where were we? We're in the book. I've got 17 minutes to go before Max starts. So the street ends at a junction with Mill Street, which runs east and west along the city wall. Looking east, you see a group of town guards marching towards you, and you decide to walk quickly west along Mill Street. Okay. On your left, you see a narrow lane, and ahead is a young lad coming towards you, pushing a barrow laden with fruit. Shall we walk down the lane, or shall we buy some fruit from the barrow boy? Yes, Lionel Blair is also rhyming slang.
I'm saying avoid the fruit. I mean, we're at full health, aren't we?
Not at full. We're on 14 out of 19.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe we should get fruit if that's the case.
Okay. It's Friday night. Okay, so we are visiting the young boy, are we? It looks like it at the moment. Are we buying the boy's fruit? I think we are. Okay. 160. There's more double entendres in this one. Right. The boy puts down his barrow and asks you what you would like to buy. He recommends his plums as being particularly refreshing. Oh, God. If you wish to pay 1 gold piece for the boy's plums, 211. If you wish to buy a bag of red apples instead, to 242. Plums or apples? Oh. And with me laughing about plums, we've dropped from 11 people in chapter 9. So it looks like I've offended somebody.
I think we're plumbing the depths here.
Hey, Master Blaster, a man who knows Viz, Buster Gonad, and his unfeasibly large testicles. A character from Viz comic.
I just hate apples. Actually, that's not true. The problem is that they're just too common, and I just went. That's the same reason I bought all these fruit trees. I said, let me try to find something that you normally don't find. So,
well, my grandmother grew damsons, which is why my mother has a thing about them, and puts them in her gin. Are we going for plums or are we going for apples? Plums are in the lead at the moment.
Well, he laughs at no common fruit for me. Well, that's pretty much, well, except lemons and limes. I don't know. Things have gotten so great now. It's hard to say what is a common and uncommon fruit nowadays.
Yeah, because I remember over here you could only get strawberries at a certain time of the year. Now they're imported, and they're always.
Well, I mean, we get a lot of stuff from the southern part of Texas, so that will come up. So we get it from the valley, and that will be oranges, limes. I'm a little too far north to get to grow dragon fruit where I am. But
I've never seen a dragon fruit, but I work in a vaping shop, and one of the most popular flavors is dragon fruit.
I'll say this much: I loved dragon fruit when I went to Cambodia. I absolutely despise it over here because they pick it before it's ripe, so it's not very sweet. It's kind of like, ugh. It's kind of like, yeah, just. And I think that's the problem with a lot of it is all of these things are being picked before they're ripe, and that's where apples do well. Apples store well, pomegranates store well. Pomegranates I like, but I've got.
I love the flavor of pomegranates. They're just a pain in the backside to eat.
I saw someone where they showed the way to do it. It looked pretty easy for that, but apparently you have to use a spoon or something.
You have to pick all the white stuff off. It takes ages. Anyway, are we going to go? Are we going for plums or apples? I'll tell you what. You count the apples. I'll count the plums.
I see apples here. I mean, I hate saying it. Let's see. I have
2. I've got 4 plums.
2. Am I just missing it? I see only 2 apples.
I think we're going plums.
I'm not sure. Elf bases.
Persimmons. That's what we call them Sharon fruit over here, or Sharon fruit, because they come from part of Israel. They're lovely. Love those.
A lot of the stuff you can grow where I am. That's semi-tropical. We can grow a lot of stuff here, but I can't. There's certain things I can't grow because I'm a little too far south. So, like I want to get some. I've been trying to get certain types of cherries that will grow down here, but that's kind of hard.
Elf bait, you're only taking apples to 3 there, so we're going with plums. He's recommended his plums. He wants us to get hold of his plums. The plums are sweet and juicy and taste delicious. Add 1 stamina point.
Just for elf bait, you got to get your huckleberries, right?
You wipe your mouth with the back of your hand and continue west. Walking towards you along the street are 2 huge guards wearing the black uniform of Lord Azure. As they get closer, you see that they are trolls, brutal mercenaries employed by Lord Azure as Imperial elite guards. To your right, there is a tree which reaches almost to the top of the city wall. If you wish to risk walking past the trolls, turn to what blah 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 blah. If you wish to climb the tree in order to get over the wall, turn to another number. So shall we try and walk past the trolls, or shall we climb the tree to get over the wall? And there we have. I think that's a marvelous piece of art.
Blackberries are everywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
at least when I was growing up, blackberries and dewberries and raspberries are pretty common. And everyone talks about North Michigan blueberries, but I'll be honest, I like southern. If you can go for blueberries, southern blueberries seem to be what I prefer.
Blackberries, with some cooking apples and a bit of sugar. Blackberry and apple jam. You'd call it jelly in your country. We call it jam. Blackberry and apple jam is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, there's a weird thing in the U.S. There's a difference between jam and jelly. I'm not sure what the.
I don't know. For jelly for us is what you call jello.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry. I'm thinking preserves. I like preserves a lot more than.
Preserves tend to be. We do have jams that are called preserves over here that tend to be more expensive and much more filled with sort of fruity chunks.
I just remember my friend. She basically boiled down because I used to buy cherries for her. She boiled the cherries down and made preserves from them. But I think that just means you don't add sugar to them. I'm not exactly sure.
That would be sensible because my mum's diabetic, so she could always have preserves, but not jams. That would make sense.
I don't know. It's still pretty sweet. So.
Yeah, but she could have she can have natural sugars, but she can't have added sugar.
Okay. And I like the sour cherry, which I guess are what people call pie cherries, but they're hard to get. I don't know.
Now, if you say pie over here, we think of meat pie.
So what do you call it? Strudel? Or what do you...
Well, no, we do have apple pies and blackberry pies and things like that, but it's more common for a pie to contain chicken or beef or something like that. If you just say the word pie, someone will assume that it's steak pie or chicken pie or something like that.
I think we just call those pot pies a lot of times.
Right. So what we're going to do, Saxius would be going berserk with the amount of time that we've been going off. But he's not here. So near.
Well, that or he'd be telling us all the other fruits that he gets that people don't know.
Yes.
I still want to find a pawpaw. I've never had a pawpaw. And that's the one thing that it's native to the United States. It supposedly tastes like a cross between a mango and a banana. But you can't find. You can only find them in the wild, just because they don't store in groceries.
Oh, I've never seen one. It's mentioned in Jungle Book. That's all I know about pawpaws.
Yeah.
Right. So we've got 1 for scaling the wall, 2 for scaling the wall, 1 for walking past.
Biscuits and gravy.
I know what biscuits and gravy is in America, and both descriptions are wrong.
That's okay. Elfbait already went into this argument. So no.
Yes. Cookies are soft biscuits. Biscuits are things like custard creams and hobnobs and rich teas you dunk in your cup of tea. And gravy is what you pour over a roast dinner.
When you get a good biscuit, those are just so awesome. I have to agree with Elfbait on that. So, but there's a lot of bad biscuits out there. That's my issue.
And Cigar DM, I will have gravy on bangers and mash all air, definitely.
I like that. Biscuits and gravity. Well, yeah. Yeah, but once you leave the United States, gravity's just gone. You can't find gravity anywhere else. which is why James L. doesn't fall off the earth. No.
Yeah, it's true. We have gone completely off track. We've only got 3 votes so far for this one here. Do we walk past the trolls, or do we try and climb the tree and avoid them? Talking food still. I've got no idea what grits are, Master Blaster. No idea at all. Don't exist over here. It looks like people are piling in here before the Legion of Myth stream starts in 3 minutes' time.
I think Legion of Myth, this is his members only.
It is, but these are members who are piling in. We've got Crafty Matt's just come in and said hello. We've got Connell coming in and saying hello. Right, make your decision. I'm going to read this thing again, and we've gone so off track that I want a decision. Stop talking about food. Stop talking about everything else. Walking along the street towards us are 2 huge guards wearing the black uniform of Lord Azure. As they get closer, you see that they are trolls, brutal mercenaries employed by Lord Azure as Imperial elite guards. To your right, there is a tree which is almost at the top of the city wall. Do we walk past the trolls, or do we climb the tree to get over the wall? I'm going to blank all votes so far. 11 people in chat. First one to 4 gets it. Right. Make a decision.
I kind of wanted to fight the trolls, so that's the
El's back on food, but he's talking about 2 of my favourite things. Blood pudding, we call it black pudding. Haggis and black pudding.
I've never had haggis, though I found out in Iraq they make something basically the same. And I've never had blood pudding.
It's both of them sound vile, but both of them taste absolutely magnificent. Imagine a sausage sandwich, thick, soft white bread, good quality sausages, either a dollop of ketchup or brown sauce, chili sauce, whatever you want, and then 2 slivers of, then 2 slices of bacon on top of that, nice and crispy. Anyhow, We've got Master Blaster walking past the trolls, Mage's Musing scaling the wall, Omanel walking past the trolls, Practice walking past the trolls. Brown sauce is like a spicy fruit sauce. Very nice. Great on beans. It looks like we're going to try and walk past the trolls at the moment. L says climbing. We're at 3-2, right? 3 votes walking past the trolls, 2 voting for climbing. Waiting for what? Potentially 1 more vote for trolls or 2 more for climbing. Fingers are counting. Max is starting. 3 for climbing now. Next vote gets it. Next vote gets it. And that is the point where we finish for tonight because I don't want to overrun and clash with Max, I'm afraid. 1 more vote. 1 more vote. Climbing or trolls? Climbing or trolls? Come on, somebody decide. We've got 13 people watching and 6 votes. 7 people watching have not. Everyone's talking about food. I've had a bottle of wine. one more vote gets it. Come on. Have you voted Omanel? You have, haven't you? You said trolls.
I did. Yeah. I mean, I'm out. You know, I've already said let's walk past the trolls. So.
I think chat are being a bunch of trolls at the moment.
All right, let's see. Did Squirrel Hermit already say trolls or not?
Yeah, Squirrel Hermit said trolls. We're going to walk past the trolls. So I'm going to write on my sheet here 307, which is where we're at now, trolls. And that's where we start next week, which will be my birthday. Okay. So next week's Fighting Fantasy stream will be on my 51st birthday. And hopefully chat will be sensible. And as a birthday present to me, we'll have our first success in a Fighting Fantasy book. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Anyway, thanks, Omanel, for joining me. Thanks, chat, for diving in and helping us out or hindering us or whatever you're doing. It's been good fun as always. I've had a few drinks and I'm off over to Legion of Myths stream. See you, chaps.
All right. See you later. Bye.
Cheers, Omanel.